So I hear you loud and clear. We want to send it all back to the states. Okay, I have some reservations about that because I'm afraid that the quality of education is going to depend on the state in which you live. I don't think that's great for kids and families, but if that's where we're going, there's something you need to know. And that is state departments of education are already really busy. They have a lot to do and they're often understaffed. So if you think you're going to move it all back to the states and not lose any services,
in a historic and highly controversial move, the US president has announced the dismantling of the Department of Education, marking a dramatic shift in the nation's approach to public schooling. This decision, driven by a push for greater state and local control, aims to eliminate federal oversight and bureaucracy, allowing individual states to set their own education policies without the interference of Washington. Supporters argue that this move will empower communities, reduce inefficiencies, and promote innovation, while critics warn that it could lead to chaos, deepening educational disparities, and stripping essential funding from vulnerable students. As the nation grapples with the implications of this decision, teachers, students, and parents now face an uncertain future in a rapidly changing education system. Hello guys, welcome back to Inside Republic. Kindly like and share this video so that the algorithm can recommend it to a broader audience, and this helps with the growth of the channel and page. If you haven't subscribed or followed, kindly do so, and to those that have, I'm truly grateful. Let's watch the following video clips, then I'll be back with my commentary.
Trump is making history, and not in a good way. He is fully dismantling the Department of Education. He is getting ready to sign an executive order to completely dismantle the Department of Education. What does that mean? The Department of Education has been around in its current form since about 1979, but its roots go all the way back to 1867. It is responsible for things like managing student loans, which there's about $1.6 trillion of that right now, funding programs for students with disabilities and lower income families, enforcing anti-discrimination laws in school. Now, half of the department's employees have already been laid off. Trump tells the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, to take all necessary steps to close it and to shift the power to the states. Trump just can't erase this overnight. Congress created it, so Congress has to vote to abolish it. That means 60 Senate votes, which isn't likely, but it doesn't mean that this isn't scary, that he is really trying to do this.
Trump just signed an executive order to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. What does the Education Department do? It funds billions of dollars to school districts across the country. It enforces anti-discrimination laws. It includes our athletes on the field. And it also makes sure that people who don't have the means to go on to college and higher educational opportunities have scholarships like the Pell Grant program. I received a Pell Grant many years ago. This is a disaster. It will have huge implications for students across the country. Here in New York, we're putting our money, our investments, where students need them most. We are making critical investments such as providing universal school meals so no child goes to school hungry, by investing in universal pre-K so that our kids have the best start to their educational journey and they can graduate from high school. We're going to continue to stand up for students, stand up for parents, and stand up for teachers here in New York.
With a stroke of a pen, the US president has signed an executive order to begin dismantling the Department of Education, setting the stage for one of the most significant policy shifts in modern history. While the order reduces the department's authority, its complete abolition remains in the hands of Congress, which originally established it in 1979. This move raises urgent questions about the fate of federal education programs, including student loans totaling trillions of dollars, the Pell Grant program that supports low-income college students, and school meal programs that provide essential nutrition to millions of children. As lawmakers debate whether to fully eliminate the department, states must prepare to take on responsibilities once managed at the federal level, leaving the future of American education in uncertain territory.
On March 19th, teachers and communities across the nation staged a walk-in to protest the ongoing attacks on public education, including budget cuts, low pay, staff shortages, and the defunding of essential programs that support students, especially those with special needs and from low-income backgrounds. When educators protest, it's as much about your children as it is about us. I can't believe I have to say this, but you cannot claim to care about children while refusing to support, pay, and provide resources for the schools, teachers, and staff who educate and nurture them. You can't. And to the Just Teach crowd, We would love to just teach, but we do so much more because we care. Public schools are the heart of every community and a lifeline for millions of children. And underfunding schools doesn't just harm education, it hurts families. It means fewer resources for students with disabilities, fewer meals for kids who rely on school for food, overcrowded classrooms, outdated materials, and exhausted, underpaid teachers who are asked to do the impossible every day. If you truly care about children, you must care about the conditions in which they learn, eat, and grow. Saying you care about kids and, at the same time, refusing to advocate for the people and institutions responsible for their well-being is kind of hypocritical.
So breaking news, Trump just signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. So I just would like to say, as someone who has been like ringing the alarm about this like for literal years at this point, I fucking told you so. It is so obvious if you just listen to what they are saying. It is so clear that this was coming.
On March 19th, thousands of teachers took to the streets in a nationwide protest, condemning what they see as a direct attack on education through relentless budget cuts, stagnant wages, and mass layoffs. Their anger was further fueled by the US president's long-planned move to dismantle the Department of Education, a decision years in the making that now threatens to upend the entire public school system. With no clear plan for replacing the department's role in funding, oversight, and policing, educators and students face unprecedented uncertainty about the future of American education. As the nation watches this crisis unfold, the fight between those pushing for state control and those defending federal protections is reaching a breaking point.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about why the Department of Education is important and why we shouldn't send all of the funding back to the states. Okay, prime example, state of Ohio. If you watched my last video, you will realize that their current budget proposal will take away $103.4 million from public schools and give $200 million extra to private school vouchers. Okay, and if you add that with no Department of Education, or a very limited Department of Education, whatever the heck Trump's trying to do to it, it's going to affect the amount of dollars that go to public schools. This is going to hurt Title I funding, which helps students with IEPs and disabilities. Private schools notoriously have a history of not helping these students because they can choose who comes into their school and who leaves their school. We don't have the ability to be taking away these dollars that are necessary to the development and equitability of our public schools and our children. A lot of people don't understand that the federal government has things that are important that they fund. It's not all fraud. It's not all waste. They literally are funding certain things so that people and children can get an education, not go hungry, etc. The states can't seem to handle that on their own. That's why the federal government had to step in. I'm actually so angry. I don't have words to express it. Stop taking big old doo-doos on public school teachers. They're not your enemy. They're educated and they want to help your kids get an education. Stop demonizing us. It's disgusting and it makes me want to stab my eyeballs out with 6,000 scissors.
The state of Ohio's education system is currently facing significant financial challenges due to proposed budget cuts and policy changes at both state and federal levels. Governor Mike DeWine's proposed budget includes a reduction of over $100 million in public school funding over the next 2 years. This proposal would affect approximately 60% of Ohio's 609 public school districts, with 356 districts projected to receive a combined $500 million less in state aid by fiscal year 2027. Conversely, the budget allocates nearly $500 million more for vouchers and charter schools, indicating a shift toward privatization in education funding. That's it for now. Until next time, take care.